Hello and welcome to Do Go On. My name is Matt Stewart and this is the Do Go On podcast. Is that kind of right?
Sure.
Hey Jess, why don't you take it from here?
Hello and welcome to another episode of Do Go On.
Okay.
My name is Jess Perkins.
That's
and
fantastic.
as always, I'm joined by Matt Stewart.
Hey Jess, how's it going?
I'm fine. We are not alone in the studio though.
Oh,
We have some guests.
I was wondering who they were.
Do you want to introduce them?
Why did you have Matt even have first crack at
I don't know.
intro?
I was being kind.
Yeah, look, we'll take it from here, guys. Welcome to another episode of Do Go On.
Welcome to Do Go On, guys! Call in! 1-800-DO-GO-ON. Have you seen something go on?
Oh, so you listen to the show, Karl?
We get a hotline. We are, of course, joined by Karl Chandler and Tommy Dassalo of the Dum Dum Club. Hello and welcome back.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. When's the little boy? When does he get here? When does the little fella?
He plays by his own rules.
Okay.
He turns up when he wants to turn up.
Okay.
That
And
little boy.
Is the rule that you don't shit your pants before you come in?
That
Because
is the
that's the.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah.
I just assumed he was busy playing an elf at like Kmart for like a Santa Claus photo display
It's
or
his
something.
busiest season.
Yeah, well, we're allowed to say this, aren't we? He's not. We in the group chat this morning. He said he can't come in because he has massive diarrhea because.
We're off to a hot start today.
I think massive is editorialising a little bit, but it is. I mean, if you're pulling out of a podcast,
Exactly.
then yeah.
We had to drive across town. If he had just had a little bit of diarrhea, then he should be in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he ate nachos at a cinema? Is that
No,
what's
we
happening?
ate fish tacos.
Right.
Which, yeah, it's
now,
a bold choice.
Is he a guy? Now, again, you guys know this way more than me, but isn't he a guy with a delicate digestive system?
Yeah.
Now, why is he trying fish tacos on the eve of a very important podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
True, that's
Look, I'm
true.
going to go a level above that. Why is the cinema having a crack at making the fish taco?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, I can't. I'm cut from the same cloth as Dave. Delicate digestive system, but if I see something wild like that on a menu,
Yeah.
I'm going, you know what? I'm going to see what Hoyts do with this. I'm curious.
Hey, honey, do you want a choc top or a fish taco?
Who's asking? So yeah, we were meant to do a big double crossover
Yes.
episode of our two pods today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But instead we said, fuck your podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's just do ours instead
I've
without
had to
Dave.
I've had to explain to Matt. Wasn't very happy. I said we want the whole Rolling Stones on our episode on
Yeah.
the twin recording. We can't be missing Mick or Keith or whoever you want to assign the role of Dave to. What do you who do you think you three are of the Rolling Stones?
We haven't done the Rolling Stones. We've only done Destiny's Child, and we know Dave's the Michelle.
Oh, okay.
I don't know
So
about
who's
Rolling
Beyonce?
Stones.
Yeah.
You are. I
Yeah, I'm
think,
Beyonce.
Oh, okay, so
Nice.
that means you're Mick then.
Yeah,
Mick.
I
think
guess I'm Mick.
You're
Jess
Mick.
is Mick. I
Okay.
think Dave is Keith.
Okay, and you are.
And I'm
Charlie
probably
Watts.
the guy who died in a pool or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
What's
okay.
it? Brian Jones.
Brian Jones. So
Did he die in a pool?
Yeah, he started the band and then he got real shit at it.
Yeah.
And then they kicked him out.
They
and then
moved
he
past him
died.
real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Should we just do the Rolling Stones today? Because I'm covering the topic.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Dave last night kind of about some of the bullet points of it. And then all of a sudden he gets up this morning. He's like, I can't be on the episode. So it hasn't really instilled a lot of faith in me about the
Yeah.
quality of what I'm bringing to the table.
Doesn't bode well, does it?
not bode well.
Well, to be fair, he should be the Brian Jones, the guy who's dead, because
Yeah.
he's in a
That's
pool
true.
of his own, you know what, at the moment.
What a way to go.
I don't know if he specified which way it was coming out, but he did say,
Right.
yeah. Well, no, he did.
He did.
No, he did.
Yeah,
He
he
did.
did. Come on.
It was kind of like we gradually got more information out of him as we were all sort of like angrier and angrier about the fact that we all need this to happen. We're all banking episodes for the
Yes.
holiday break.
And also, this has been in the pipes for about 6 months.
That's
Yeah.
the other
Yeah,
part
yeah,
of it
yeah.
too. Yeah. What do you know? What movie he was seeing?
I was there with him. We saw Violent Night.
Oh my god.
It was awesome. It was so good.
And what were you eating instead?
I didn't want to say because I was eating basically nachos.
I was like, what did you order? The 2-week-old milk?
A glass of old milk.
No, not out of the fridge. That one in the windowsill.
It's not on the carpet. Can you scrape that off for me? Looks delicious.
Because he messaged me this morning saying, hey, just to let you know, this might be coming for you as well.
Right.
And
Oh,
like,
you got early access.
I'm like, I'm
Patreon only information. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm feeling pretty fine. Any chance it was the fish tacos
Yeah.
that you had? And he said, oh yeah.
Oh,
that-
what did he think How did you think you were going to get it through the movie?
The movie made me sick.
Yeah.
we did because we did a gig earlier and we shared the catering there, so it could have been that. But then this was post gig.
Right.
That's when we split off. He went fish tacos.
Right.
I went chips and guacamole.
Right.
Feels
So
safer.
this truly is like a science experiment because
Yeah.
you've got the control.
We A/B
of
tested
the gig
it.
catering, and
Yeah.
then so we can 100% level this at the fish taco.
Yes, I think
Alright.
so.
This was I'm sort of used to it when it comes to this podcast and the members of, because it was only 2 weeks ago when someone pulled out of a gig I run, Comedy Explained. It starts at 8:30. I think it was 6:30 when I got the pull out. And it
Yeah.
was the day after Meredith Music Festival, and from
No.
all the reports I heard was Matt Stewart was absolutely
No.
no good after that.
Meredith was this weekend. That was an entirely
Was it?
different thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I need gigs at the moment. I would have thought you'd have people begging for that spot.
No, because there's a lot of people like you and Dave Warnicky that keep pulling out of
Right.
things.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Guys, can we pivot? This honestly is just an episode of our show at this point. Like, why
Yeah, you're right.
we could do this for another 55 minutes easily. We're talking diarrhea. We're talking gig beefs.
Yeah.
We're fully in our wheelhouse now. We've just taken the ship over.
Yeah.
We've Captain Phillipsed it.
Yeah.
That's why we need Dave here. We need to outnumber guests, or
Yeah.
we lose
Yeah.
control very quickly.
Yeah.
Hey,
This is a
Jess, why don't
standoff.
you, or maybe we normally get one of us to explain how this show works. Tommy, do you reckon you could have a crack at explaining what Do Go On is?
Oh yeah, sure. Three people of varying
Wrong already.
levels of reliability come together and they ask someone else who's not affiliated with the show to spend a few days putting together research on a topic, and then one of the hosts pulls out at the last minute.
Yeah.
Is that what the show
That's
is?
All
basically
right,
what
yeah.
it is, yeah.
Yeah, for about 7 years now. It's exciting.
And we normally get on a topic with a question. I don't know if you've written a question here, Tommy.
No.
Okay, fantastic, because you already let slip what the topic is anyway.
Yeah.
My question for the listeners is, what is the most famous Russian video game?
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a tough question because surely there's no definitive answer. It's like saying who is the most famous person in the world. Well, you can't have a litmus test to find
Okay,
that
well,
out.
name another Russian video game.
Another one. I can't even name a what's the first one?
Am I even right saying it's Russian?
No, 100% you are.
Well done.
Yeah.
What is okay? Well, what is a Russian game?
The video game Super Gorbachev Brothers.
Yeah, I was gonna
That's
say.
what I prepared the topic
Miss
on.
Yeltsin Man.
No, just because somebody, one of our listeners, is keeping tally of which of us guesses it right, I'm just going to jump in there to get a point. Is it Tetris?
It sure is.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's a point
yeah.
for me. That's a fucking point
That's
for me.
Russian.
Damn it.
Well done.
Actually, I'm looking at a book that you've brought in that's clearly a book about Tetris, and now I'm going, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
should have probably guessed that one too.
Yeah, you guys, now, to the best of my knowledge, the three of you aren't gamers, but you surely have interacted with Tetris at some
course.
point.
I've been playing Tetris recently.
I like
I've
the
just
way
got onto
that
it.
question should go. Now, you guys, I don't think you're gamers, so maybe you don't know what Tetris is. So some of us hardcore gamers wouldn't really understand that.
I'll explain it.
You probably don't know the rules. Here's how it
Please,
works.
Tommy, nerd-splain it to us. Yeah.
Well, my point being, Tetris is like ubiquitous enough that like, even if you're not into games, you've played it at some point.
Yeah.
Or you at the very least you know what it is.
Yeah.
Your mum and dad would have heard of it probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Matt, you've been playing it recently?
Yeah.
For the first time. He's just discovered it. It's a
Oh.
fun new game.
That's great. I find it very relaxing.
Text Karl, say I can't do spleen, and then just rip into a bit of Tetris.
You're one of those late adopters. You watched the movie and thought, I'll get into the game now.
Yeah. That's right, yeah. It was a fantastic film. I wanted to get into the source material.
Gripping.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't know if you're getting into this at all, Tommy, but I saw recently that it's just been discovered that each piece has its own name. Did you see that?
What?
Yeah.
Like a person's name, you mean?
Yeah. I think, one of them.
Well, the pieces themselves are called tetrominos.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, we all know that.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. But yeah, no, I didn't know that they all had, each piece had an individual name.
Yeah, I
'Cause
think it
people just
just-
call it square, long
Someone
one.
found the old booklet that came with the Nintendo version of it, and there was a page with the names of the pieces.
Wow.
Okay.
I'll find it before we finish up.
But again, like people's names, like Gary.
I can't remember, but I think they are stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, you know, like the ghosts in
Oh, like they've got Blinky
and
in Pac-Man.
Yeah, exactly. I
Right.
think it's like that. Yeah.
Okay.
At some point, they thought everything needed to be named.
Yeah.
That's cool. So there's like Tetris law.
Yeah.
Where the person, you know what, for the time that it is, the fact is it's probably just like the person who wrote the instruction manual just went, I'm just going to come up with these.
Yeah.
And then not signed off by anyone at top brass.
Someone that wrote the instruction books had 2,000 words to fill.
Mm.
And he was sitting on 1,500. And went, all right, we're naming the bricks.
Yeah. Here we go.
The instruction manual has a word count that it has to hit.
They've already booked in a 16-page print run. What are you going to put on 14 pages of it?
How much?
You got to put something on.
How much more detail can I put into push left to go left? I mean, if you're really feeling like it, it's what you could do. Of course, it's optional. You don't have to go left.
And
one could go right if they so
There's
chose.
no rhyme or reason to some of them are people names. Anyway,
okay,
I'll tell.
please.
So you've got the.
Is this where we should be starting in the history
Oh,
of
yeah.
Tetris?
No, I like because this doesn't come up in
Okay.
my thorough research.
Oh, God.
So you've got the L shape is Orange Ricky, and then the
Orange Ricky.
Orange
Okay.
Ricky.
Is it orange?
I think it must be orange because then in the booklet they're all grey, but
Right, yeah.
then the backwards L, that's Blue Ricky.
Okay. Someone's taken the piss
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Then that sort of that Z-ish looking one. What
Yep.
would you call that?
The
zigzaggy one.
Yeah.
That's called Cleveland Z. And then the opposite of that is Rhode Island Z.
Okay.
So
Oh
they've
my
gone from
God.
names to
This
placement.
is worse than what's in Dave Warnicki's pants at the moment.
No, you've hit the nail on the head, Karl. This is someone who's getting paid by the word.
Yep.
Yeah.
The stick one is Hero.
No, but it is.
That's the hero
When
piece.
you're like banking it up and you're
Oh,
making
yeah.
sure you've got like a nice
You
bit for it to
slot
slot
that
into,
one in. Oof.
and you get that full, the full
Yeah.
Tetris of like all of them. That is the hero.
Hero.
That's the hero.
The
Yeah,
t-shirt.
okay, well, there's a reason to go, oh, that's the hero. Is there a need in the game to go, Orange Ricky?
Rhode Island. You need the Z's probably useless, because it's more difficult to work with.
So I reckon it feels like that's a slide against Cleveland and Rhode Island, right? Surely.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Right, right. It's not helpful.
Someone's got an ex-girlfriend in
Yeah.
each
Yeah.
place. I'll show them. I'm going to burn them in the Tetris instruction manual.
Then the T shape is Tiwi.
Okay.
Tiwi.
And
That's the easiest one to come up with a name for.
yeah, just stop at T. You had it.
Yeah.
And then finally the square is Smash Boy.
Oh, my
I don't mind
God.
that. Smash Boy and Hero are the only ones that I'm on board
Okay.
with. All the rest of them, shit ass.
Trash.
How did Tetris become such a big part of culture with dog shit like that
Yeah.
in the instructions?
I wonder if there was anyone back in the day, they get their Game Boy, they break it open, they're like, just going to have a read of this instruction manual before I start the game. And then they've just seen all the names and gone, fuck this.
No.
This game sounds stupid. I'm out.
I reckon this is the game that stopped everyone from reading the instructions before they played the games. Because
Yeah.
who reads the instructions
Yeah.
before they play the game?
No.
Yeah.
Do
well,
you?
Well, now they don't come with instructions.
Oh,
It's
really?
all built into the game.
Yeah, it's like a
Right.
There'll be
tutorial.
2 hours of just some coming up. Sorry, do you say that word on this podcast?
It's been coming up more. It was early
Surely,
on
with, surely with Warnicki pulling out every 2 seconds, it'd come up a bit.
we did it early, and then Dave at one point went, apparently in America it's offensive.
Oh, right.
So we stopped saying it for a while,
Yeah.
and then we started bleeping it when it comes up occasionally.
I think
right.
in our first 50, 100 episodes, I used to be pretty hard on even Tommy and the other guests, like, don't swear if
Let's
you
try
can.
not to
Let's
swear,
try not
yeah.
to swear, because what if we got our own radio show, and then about 2 episodes later we went, that's never fucking happening.
Well, on the video games podcast that I do, Filthy Casuals, we do videos on
Yeah.
YouTube, and they started getting demonetized for ads because they changed their standards.
Oh.
And the C bomb got put in the category of slurs along with the N word. And it's just having that leveled at you, it's
Yeah.
you've said some
Yeah.
You've said the equivalent of the N word. It's whoa,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
Australian.
Yeah,
your
yeah.
system should be detecting the
Yes,
accent.
this isn't
in
our
its
national
parts.
anthem. Calm down.
All right. Do you guys want to hear about the history of Tetris?
Oh,
Yes.
is there more to come than just naming the blocks?
Blue
once-
Ricky.
Yeah. There once was a man called Hero. What was the square again? Big Smashy?
Smash Boy.
Smash Boy.
Boy.
That's so sick.
Love
Yeah.
Smash Boy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1985. Alexei Pachitnov. He's a computer scientist at the Moscow Academy of Science. His main job was creating artificial intelligence and voice recognition software. He's fascinated by puzzles and games and how much they reveal about psychology and behavior. So in his spare time, he starts messing around trying to like make versions of his favorite puzzles on his computer. So he's like getting the, whatever, like the Rubik's Cube and being like, yeah, this, but it's on a screen.
Okay. Oh, so he's right. That kind of makes sense. Like, imagine if Rubik's Cube was busted apart and on a screen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, his inspiration for Tetris came from this puzzle game called Pentominoes. Do you guys know this game? It's like so you've got like a wooden box and then you've got all these shapes that are like the Tetris shapes and you have to, it's like a puzzle.
And what are their names?
Simon, Mick, Keith, Dave, Beyonce. It's just all in.
Ringo. Okay. Right.
So he was kind of obsessed with that game, that specific like little puzzle game which you could play alone or with a friend. And then one day he starts thinking like, oh yeah, what if all these little shapes were falling from the sky into a glass and you were having to like, manipulate them and get them to like all like do the puzzle kind of the other way around.
Right.
Which, sounds to me like someone in the dorm room at the Moscow Academy of Science just you know what I'm saying? Oh man.
Someone at Moscow TAFE.
Studying the effects of mad bongs on the human mind. Yeah, man. Artificial intelligence. It's for science.
Yeah.
What if the bong smoked you?
Just with posters of Boris Yeltsin, but with dreadlocks on his wall. Yeah.
So yeah, he starts. He's obsessed with that. He's toying around with the idea. The Pentominoes, the blocks were made up of like 4 little units. He changes it to 5, he changed it from 5 to 4. So he's working on this computer that's like obviously like very old, very rudimentary, didn't have any graphics capabilities. So he makes this version of it that's just text. Like so the blocks are coming down and they're just like
The text
made out
says
of just like
Orange Ricky.
yeah. I mean, when I read it, that's what I thought. I was like, you're typing in, rotate to the left, and then the game's going, good one. But no, it's like, it's scrolling from the sky, but it's the pieces are made up of just like little brackets.
Yeah.
To kind of like, fill it in that way. So he gets obsessed with it. He starts sharing it around the Moscow Academy of Science, and all his friends get hooked on it, even though it's like very basic, very rudimentary. Everyone that he works with gets super into it.
And
So
then what year is this?
This is 85.
So where are we in like computer? Is Atari around and stuff like that?
Atari's around. There's like arcade machines are around.
They're well and truly around. What would be number 1 on the hit parade in 85? Like Pac-Man's like late 70s or early 80s, is it?
I reckon it's Atari. I don't reckon Nintendo have quite launched yet.
Yeah.
I think Mario Brothers is like 86.
Right.
So they're like, they're not quite in the field yet. I think maybe the video game crash may have just happened or be about to happen.
We did an episode about that back in the day. That might have been 83 or something.
The video game crash, what does that mean?
Crash Bandicoot. So they're like Atari, they have like, there's just, everyone's buying these video games, like the home consoles. Yeah, the cartridges.
It was
People
sort
are
of not regulated or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just meant that like supermarkets were putting out consoles and
Anyone
was doing
could do it.
and it just ruined the market.
flooded the market, and then people got over it. And then, so when it came time for Nintendo to put out their console, they had to really battle to get it in shops because all the department stores were like, no, we just got burnt by this a few years ago. We've still got all this old stock.
Right.
There was
You're not tricking us.
Was it ET game? Or there was some game and they had to bury a million cartridges or something. Yeah.
So, that's kind of, that's where things are at the moment. So in terms of, I think home computer stuff is still like pretty big, but consoles, Atari would have been the last kind of like big one.
But it would have, so it's not like this would have been blowing their minds. This would have looked pretty primitive.
I was going to say, how bad were these old video games if Tetris came along and everyone was like, oh, finally, a good-looking video game.
But so everyone that he's working with gets into this kind of very basic version of it that he's made because, it taps into, the book I read about it goes into the sort of psychology of why people love Tetris because it taps into this thing in the human brain where it's like the dopamine rush of like finishing a task because it's like
It's like crossing something off the to-do list.
Yeah, but then the to-do list just reappears again instantly because it's like you get a line.
It's like life, man.
Guys, that's the only point I wanted to come in here and make is that Tetris is like life itself.
It never stops. It's like the mail coming into the mailroom, and that's why I had to shoot up a school.
It's like the shit coming out of an asshole after you've eaten a fish taco. It's endless. It just keeps repeating.
All morning. Yeah.
You wipe, you flush, and then guess what?
Yep.
You're back in there 3 minutes later.
And then your mates are back in the chat going, can't you just come and do the podcast? And you're like, no, fuck off.
You prescribed him a pie, didn't you, Karl? Just eat a pie, mate.
Yeah.
You'll be good.
That's like he eats a. Is that the thing? He's finally eaten something that isn't a pie, and it's just absolutely blown his guts
I think
up.
that might have been what it is. I'm starting to think as well that even if he wants to, Dave won't be able to edit out this thread.
No, there's no way.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. No.
Guys, now here's your challenge for the rest of this story that I've got that's quite dry, I have to be honest. If we can just relate every bullet point back to Dave having diarrhea, then I think we're in for an all-time top 5 episode
Why don't we
of
try
Do
and-
Go On, hosted by Tommy Dassalo and Karl Chandler.
Why don't we name all of Dave's shits while we're at it?
Smash boy.
Smash Boys. Yeah. Splash Boy.
The game's a viral hit at the Moscow Computer Center. A friend of Alexei's named Dmitry Pavlovsky, who was very well versed in MS-DOS, which is like the big operating system of the time. They get together and they make like a proper graphical version of the game that's not just like text-based. Like it looks kind of more like what Tetris looks like now. Right. They get it kind of popping. They come up together with the name Tetris, named for the 4 blocks that make up each piece, which is a tetra plus tennis. That's where the name comes from.
Oh.
Yeah. Block tennis.
Block
Not really
tennis.
like tennis at all.
No.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit like the old tennis game, though.
People like Pong.
Yeah, like Pong. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's got a bit of Pong about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Speaking
Pong-
of Warnicky this morning. There we go. You asked for it.
Yeah.
That one was always too easy.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing, how's tennis played over there? It's like you lob the ball at someone and then they just disappear.
Yeah.
It's like that's what's happening in...
Yeah.
If they're not good enough in Russia, yeah.
Yeah, in Russia. Yeah.
The proteges who don't quite make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't quite make it.
Yeah. And by the way, if you're making up these names, I think you're being borderline racist. Dmitry Pavlovsky.
If I'm making them up.
Okay, yeah.
An opportunity to be borderline racist. Yeah, I jumped on that.
Normally,
That's the underlying subject with this.
yes,
Not Tetris itself.
because normally when people come in to do a report, they've written it down, and you've just been closing your eyes and looking upwards.
Yeah. I've just been Googling pictures of ugly Russian people and then being like, looks like a Dimitri to me.
And you've been making a note of every time he has a 5-second delay of going, what else can I say?
This is going to be a brutal edit.
Yeah. I assume Dave's done a wonderful job.
Yeah.
So it's that version of Tetris that makes its way outside of the computer center. So people are copying it. They're giving it off to their friends. Within
they're
2
bootlegging.
weeks,
They're bootlegging
they're
a video
bootlegging it.
game.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But the guy who made it, he's just made this as a lark. Like he doesn't care.
Yeah.
So
This is the 85 version of what's the
the Crazy Frog.
no
A viral hit.
No, the bloody the thing that
Dave's
the New York
mouth's doing Matt's mouth's doing an impression of Dave's mouth.
yeah the game that the New York Times bought. What's that?
Oh,
Wordle.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, just a little fun thing. No one wanted any money out of it. So within 2 weeks, Tetris is on every computer in Moscow. It's copied around. To give here's an example of its popularity. At a psychology institute in Moscow, a manager loved Tetris so much that he's given it to his entire staff. He's like, you got to check this out, guys. And then like a week or two later, he has to come around and confiscate all the copies back off them because no work is getting done.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, I tried to be cool, boss. And it's backfired.
I now have to be asshole boss.
Yeah.
I have to take the game away.
Like,
Dave is certainly not the arsehole boss today.
If only he was a bit more of a boss, we could be.
The arsehole's running the show there.
We could be doing an episode of Little Dum Dum Club as
oh
well.
my God. I'm just imagining the listener of this who's like loves video game history.
Yeah.
Always wanted to hear this story, but there are some people who are severely put off by anything fecal.
I'm one of those
Really?
people. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, you're doing a valiant job here.
Yeah.
I'm blocking it out.
I think Dave and I have had an influence because he's starting to be the one to make shit jokes now, and I'm like, oh, come on!
I reckon if I was listening to this, I wouldn't be listening to it anymore.
Yeah.
But being in the room, I don't know, somehow it's... And
Well,
I'm
you're a
not eating.
contributor.
If there was any food coming up for me, I wouldn't be able to...
Sure.
If we were sitting down for lunch,
Yeah.
I would have pushed the plate away from me at about this point, I reckon.
Interesting.
Wow, I didn't know you were that delicate. That's
I'm very delicate.
Yeah.
Can't believe that doesn't just come out of me.
A guy
Much
with a
like-
Merv Hughes moustache and an old St Kilda jumper. Like, you look like you could probably eat this table, let alone fucking be weird about talking about poo for a second.
I don't like that word, Karl. Please.
Sorry.
Let's be delicate around Matt. Let's just call it a whoopsie from now on.
Right,
Thank
right,
you.
Yeah,
right,
that's
right.
nice.
Dave's at home having a bit
He's
of
having a whoopsie.
Having frequent whoopsies.
Doing
Liquid
some,
whoopsie.
some whoops boys. Yeah.
Liquid whoops boys.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're in too deep now as well.
Right.
We
Yeah.
can't go back. Okay, so so no money's changing hands for any of these copies of Tetris. Everyone in Moscow just has it because Russia's 1985 communist country. So the guy who made it, Alexei, he could have been arrested and jailed for even trying to sell it. But he also doesn't care. He just likes puzzles. He likes what they kind of have to say about like the human mind and everything. So he's just happy that people have their hands on it and they're having a good time.
God, imagine going to jail for inventing Tetris.
So eventually, a colleague of his suggests that he sends the game to a friend of his in Hungary who publishes games. So at the Hungarian Institute of Technology, they hold an exhibition of software that they've developed. A guy called Robert Stein, who's the owner of a UK company called Andromeda Software, he's come to the exhibition looking for games that he can sell in foreign markets. He has a go of Tetris. He gets hooked. And he decides that he wants to license it in the UK. He wants to get the rights to be able to like give this game out
At
worldwide.
the Hungarian
At the
Expo.
Hungarian Institute of
Famous capitalist sort of utopia. Hungary.
Yeah. That is a roll of the dice, isn't it? It's like, just pop over here, have a look, I'll probably find the next Pong over there.
Yeah.
I'll probably find the next Pac-Man. And he's kind of right. So he
Packing your Dax man.
Yes,
That's how
there
we
we
go.
go.
there we go.
go.
Very
All right.
nice. So he
Talking about Dave there.
Yeah.
no, I got it.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about him shitting himself for about 3
yes,
seconds
from before.
there.
Yeah.
That's why he's not here.
Right.
Is he
It's
not
all-
here?
Yeah.
Oh
It's
man.
all starting to make sense now.
So once this guy Robert Stein gets home, he contacts the Moscow Computer Center using a thing called the telex, which predates the fax machine.
Okay.
Never heard of one of these?
Telex.
Pre-fax. So it's
Whoa.
kind of like you're typing it out and then it's appearing like it's basically a fax machine, but it's like I guess it took a little bit longer.
Right. Name
So-
was too long. Had to get it shorter. Fax.
Telex sounds awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. It's like the telephone.
But does fax sound good?
Yeah.
You reckon?
Facts.
Is it only just because you're used to it though? It's a bit of a weird name, I reckon.
Telex sounds like what the 80s thought the future sounded like.
Yeah,
That's true, yeah.
It also sounds like an antihistamine or something.
Oh yeah,
You know?
I like it.
Telex.
Can I use it?
Yeah.
Is anyone using it now?
I think it's back in public domain by now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can have that.
All right,
Yeah, I
I'll
wonder
have
if you
it.
can. I wonder if you can find one.
Yeah.
Yeah, telex.
There used to be like some TVs used to have. I thought it was the telex.
Teletext.
button. Oh, teletext.
Yeah,
Right.
which was just subtitles, right?
Yeah.
And maybe there was a
there was
news service.
It was
yeah.
a very
That's right.
primitive internet, wasn't it? Because
Yeah.
you could watch TV and then you could just flip over and it'd have like some 2-week-old news.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like written like a Commodore 64 style.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
maybe a blue screen with yellow writing or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You could get the football scores on it. and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Pretty sick, actually.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty cool.
Bring it back.
Okay, so Robert Stein, he opens up his teletext and he gets the footy scores and he sends them to the Moscow Computer Center to try and get permission to take Tetris to the rest of the world. So Alexei gets the message at the Moscow Computer Center. He then has to type out his response in Russian. He has to get that message approved by someone, and then he has to get someone else to translate the message and send it back to this guy in the UK. So because of that, there's this big communication breakdown. By the time all of that happens, he's
Chinese
basically said,
whispers.
yeah. I don't think you're allowed to use that term anymore, Karl.
Okay, right.
I think you meant to say boop whispers.
Right. Oriental whispers. Okay.
I think you're getting colder there, Karl. But,
Let's just give Dave a little gimme to edit out. You know, just an easy one that doesn't affect anything else in the show.
they call it in America, they call it telephone. But that feels like that must be so confusing.
Yeah.
That's already a thing.
Because telephone's like 1-for-1 audio.
Yeah.
There's really no room for misinterpretation there.
I think they came up with telephone because it was started as Chinese whispers, and by the time it got to there, it made no sense.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys should do an ep on the history of Chinese whispers. The concept, the term, there's a lot to dig into there.
Yeah.
But so basically, Alexei, what he's gone to say is, yeah, I'm interested. This sounds cool. Let's have a talk about this. Like, we'll work out a deal. Hopefully we'll work out a deal. You know, we'll get a contract going. So it sounds pretty good to me. Happy to chat. And Stein has just read, but by the time it's been translated and everything, Stein's just read this as, we're on. You've got a deal.
Right.
So he's like,
Right.
bang, we are off to the races here. I've got the worldwide rights to Tetris.
Oh,
I'm going to,
shit.
this game is so addictive. This is going to make me like tons of money. So he just starts giving off the rights basically willy-nilly. So he gives off the rights to,
Selling or giving?
Yeah.
well, selling.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
selling.
But what is selling if not giving?
Oh, that's so true.
Exactly. With
With-
money involved.
Yeah.
A transaction involved.
Yeah. It's like you've given me a pie
Yeah.
and then I've given you money.
That's
but they're
right.
two separate events.
We've both given.
If only that transaction had happened last night with Warner instead of what actually happened. Would have been safe with the pie.
That's the other thing is how much were you got the fish tacos at a cinema. I'm guessing they're like $25 or something like
They
that.
were $27.
$27.
$27.
For hat
I know
three?
that because as we were leaving, he was saying they weren't that good. and he said, so because we went to a movie to kill time, waiting for a flight, and he's gone 27. I can't help but think what I could have bought for $27.
Yeah.
But he doesn't realize he bought a whole lot more than he realized.
Yeah. New plunger for one. Probably costs about $27.
Adult nappies, whatever. Do you reckon you could
He
actually?
could get.
Look,
I reckon he could get child nappies, but
How big do they go?
like a big child.
Big child.
Yeah.
yeah. Do you reckon? I mean, look, I'm not saying he should be here right now, but do you reckon you could operate? Do you reckon you could be on a podcast while you're struggling with that affliction? Do you think you could actually do it or not?
I don't know.
Do you think personally you could get through it?
I mean, it depends on how severe it is, I suppose.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, do you want to be around that?
I'm just asking.
There's quite a few doors to get through out of the podcast
That's
studio.
true.
It's a fair walk to the loo.
I guess so.
I have done that many times.
Right.
Yeah,
But you record in your lounge room sometimes, don't you?
I have a very vivid memory of the time we had Grant Denyer on and we went and did it at his hotel. And I had
What?
like week long full on food poisoning. Like I just had straight up been in bed and it was like, well, you can't cancel on this guy, you know.
Gold
like
Logie winner,
This
right?
has to happen. And just turning up and it was like, I think it had been nearly a week. I'd been so sick. So it wasn't like it wasn't like it was coming on. It was like I was like, I
You
can
knew
get
what you
through
were
this.
dealing with.
I know what I'm dealing with.
You're on
I
the
can
mend a little bit.
I can regulate this.
You
a
knew
bit.
what the rhythms were.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the warning
absolutely.
signs, the time you had between the first warning signs.
You're an old hand. You've got a callus down there.
Yeah, exactly. But not my favorite experience. That's for damn
But
sure.
you also, your problem would be your guests. It's hard to organise your guests. But I guess, for Dave today, this was one of the rare times where we had guests coming in.
Oh,
But obviously
sure.
doesn't respect you like you respect Grant
Yeah, that's
Denyer.
it. Do you think he would have pushed through if it was just you two?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Absolutely.
Even less so. No, certainly not.
No. And I wouldn't have either.
Yeah.
No.
If it wasn't, we were trying to get this done just before we have a bit of a break.
True.
I think we would have all loved the
We would've-
late. I love a
yeah.
late cancel.
Yeah.
Love that.
Love a late
Yeah.
cancel.
Oh, the plans I had for the day.
Yeah.
Sadly, here we are.
I know.
I'm gonna say I'm glad we're doing this. I'm having a great time.
I
Yeah.
am now, but like when it looked like it wasn't going to happen, I was like, "Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going
We
to
all
do
had
it."
a day off.
Yeah, I didn't have anything in the planner. This is going to be.
I was thinking that I was on my way, and I'm like, I'm already
we
doing
know.
this.
Yeah.
That's the only reason it happened because every 5 minutes in the chat you kept popping up. No, I reckon actually, morally, we should be doing this. It's like, has this got anything to do with the fact you're already there?
I was already looking forward to heading home, honestly, but I'm like, but then I'm just gonna have to come back next week or something.
Yeah.
See, I rode the waves of it. First up with it being cancelled, I was like very annoyed because I'd like based my whole day around it, and we need to bank an ep of our show. I was like, and then once it set in, I was like, this is actually cool. I just got the morning to like chill around the house, take the dog for a walk, get some other stuff done, and then all of a sudden it's like we're back on. So it's like I really felt every emotion that it's possible.
Yeah, that's
to feel
even
about
worse.
It. Yeah,
you're starting to go, oh, how good's this?
Yeah.
It was all up and down, all over the place. Our heads were like Warnicki's bum. Yeah. Stuff spewing out of it.
Okay, so Robert Stein, he's convinced he has the go ahead to license Tetris around the world. He sells the rights to two software companies to begin with: Spectrum Holobyte in the US and Mirasoft in the UK. So he claims that he's like, licensed to do this, even though he doesn't.
Tetris.
Yeah, he doesn't have any form of contract or anything.
It's only a vocal.
He's not even
It's a
vocal. He's
maybe.
got like a mistranslated,
right.
Russian to English.
It's
like,
not a full niet, but it's
exactly.
Would I have heard of these
I
brands?
don't know if they still exist, but
Okay.
I think they were both pretty big players at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe just in relation to other.
They didn't make Battletoads or something that I would have heard of.
Is that the one video game you've played outside of Tetris?
No, Solitaire on Microsoft. Microsoft Golf.
Oh yeah,
Looks
you
like
played
you hit the
Microsoft.
tree, Jim. Yeah.
Yeah, I've played Windows.
Yeah. I played Word. I typed out all the letters. I clocked it.
I beat the final boss, the paperclip. Told him to fuck off.
I beat the squiggle. I spelled something right.
So around this time, there's a growing fascination in the US about what life was like in Russia. Gorbachev and Reagan, they have
And who?
Reagan.
Brian Regan.
Brian Regan. Ronald
Great
Reagan.
comedian. Dave, edit out the bit where I say Reagan.
No, leave it in, please. Reagan. President Reagan.
They've scheduled a nuclear summit together in Iceland. Iceland.
It's fine.
God, I'm butchering this.
Either.
I think Iceland is a department store in the UK.
Is it really?
Isn't that no? It's a supermarket. Isn't
A
it?
supermarket.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah,
Iceland?
it wouldn't be
Yeah.
a department store.
So,
Really?
yeah, in the UK, when you say Iceland, when you go, oh, I'm just going to Iceland, it's like holiday? No, milk. Like, it's weird.
Naming it after like one very small bit of one department of the supermarket.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also a
about
country
a
that
supermarket
neighbours
called-
them, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very weird, especially when you're in Europe already. So
Yeah.
Iceland's not that far
It's
away.
quite accessible.
Yeah, that must be super confusing.
Very confusing.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I just think, it'd be like us calling a supermarket New Zealand.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just popping to New Zealand. Do
Yeah.
you need anything?
Yeah.
Um,
Some kiwi fruit. Oh yeah, works either way.
that one works. Yeah.
So Spectrum Holobyte tap into this kind of US fascination with Russia by taking out a full page ad in USA Today, showing like
And
a.
this is still like old mates back home in Russia, not knowing anything about this.
Yeah.
has no idea about
Full-page
this.
ads.
He's
Full
agreed
page
to
ad.
having a chat.
Yeah.
And that's it.
They take out an ad in USA Today. They do like a mock up, like a fake thing of Reagan and Gorbachev playing Tetris together.
That's awesome.
And they've got it as like, this is the
Wow.
game that escaped the USSR. And like in that ad, it's like, here's what's really happening behind. Because everyone was like, what are they going to talk about in this meeting and everything? It's like, here's what they're actually doing. Sick strategy.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah, I love
great
that.
ad.
Back then, they used to. I mean, I'm old enough to remember that in the 80s when there used to be a real thing about America versus Russia, and imagine Russia coming to blow everything up and
Yeah.
whatever. It's like that was a real. I mean, look, Rocky 4.
Yeah, totally.
No, Rocky 3. No, 4.
4.
4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
4.
yeah, Rocky 4.
4. Yeah, and just even being able to use the phrase "the Iron Curtain."
Yes.
It's like that just adds to the myth. What's going on behind the Iron Curtain?
Yeah.
Did that ad get Dimitri killed? I'm just picturing him back at home and
Yeah.
the word gets back. Who's made this game?
Well, so this Robert Stein guy, the guy who's like thinks he's got is like
The English guy.
He knows he's taken the piss a little bit because he's also it's a combination of like it's sort of mistranslated, but he's also reading into it what he wants to read in.
Yeah.
Like his attitude has just been, I'll sell this off and I'll just deal with this later because I can make so much money, and like by the time I've got the money, I can like pay people off or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, but he sees that ad, that big the big USA Today ad, and he starts to realize this is like
He sees it.
he sees it. He's like, this is getting this train is getting away from me.
Right.
I've got to get back to Russia and I've got to actually get these rights. Otherwise, I've got to make sure I've actually got them because otherwise I'm in big shit.
Russian news agency is stocking USA Today, or has he?
Yeah, like 8 months later. The big orange like direct freight sticker on it.
Yeah.
A lot of it's redacted, but
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I just guess they're like leafing through and ripping that page out.
Yeah.
So around this time,
Garfield's like censored. It's like he doesn't hate Mondays, he hates America.
so around this time, the Russian government has created a new agency called ELOG to oversee and control the importing and exporting
God,
of
there's a
hardware
lot
and
of
software.
terrible names in
Yeah.
the story.
Yeah.
ELOG.
So this organization ELOG, they take over negotiations of the deal with Stein. So he goes in for a meeting with them in Moscow, which lasts for 4 days. And eventually they draft up a contract which says that ELOG has to approve any and all versions of Tetris. And Stein has to just basically agree to whatever they propose because he's in so deep with Microsoft and Spectrum Holobyte. Like they've already started putting the game out. So whatever conditions ELOG want in the contract, he just basically has to go like, yeah, sure, sounds great.
Sounds great.
You're sort of not telling them that he's done the dodgy on them.
right. So they're in a strong spot here.
They're in a strong spot.
Yeah.
So they finally, after months, they get the contract worked out. They're good, he's got it in writing. He's good to go. So in 1987 and 1988, Microsoft publishes Tetris in the UK and Spectrum Holobyte publish it in the US, and both of them become the best-selling games in their respective countries. So yeah, they come out on, I think, like home computer, and they're both like massive in both those countries immediately.
It really feels. I was sure this would have come before so many. There's games that look more advanced than this are already out by many years.
Yeah.
It feels like this. I was assuming this came out in 1978
But
or
this
something.
is like a very, I guess the strength is very playable. This
Right.
game, isn't it?
Yeah,
the
I mean, there
real-
was when he was like shopping it around originally, a lot of people were like, exactly what you're saying. A lot of people were like, nah, we want stuff with like violence and like graphics have gotten better. Like you can show someone like killing a demon on a screen. We
Yeah.
want stuff like that. We don't want this.
What about
We don't
about
want this sort of
Smash
stuff.
Man rather than Smash Boy?
Yeah.
Fiddling around with it.
The
No, thank
industry's
you.
matured. It's not just for children anymore, guys. It's 1986. Games aren't just for kids anymore. So there starts to be a bit of tension with the Russians. In 1987, a German pilot named Matthias Rust landed a plane in the middle of the Red Square in the middle of the day as like a political protest. He was aiming to create an imaginary bridge between Russia and its Cold War enemies. He was arrested 2 hours later and named a radical by the government. So then the UK and the US publishers of Tetris, in an attempt to make the game kind of look more sort of visually interesting on the screen, because you've just got that grid. I don't know if you remember in any of the versions you've played, there's just like a bit of flavor around like the side of the grid.
framing.
Yeah. So they just chuck a bunch of stereotypical Russian shit on there, including this Rust guy's plane that had landed in the Red Square. Oh. So they put that in there. That gets back to Alexei, the guy who made the game, and he's like, you've got to take this out because that could be seen as glorifying a radical. And people know I made this game,
Right.
so that could get me in deep shit.
Right.
So, yeah, already a bit of tension's going on there.
Wow.
So then, 1988, a developer called Hank Rogers, he has powerful contacts in the Japanese video games market. He discovers Tetris at a Las Vegas games show, and he falls in love with it. He's like, this is awesome.
Oh,
So he
come on.
decides...
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Leave Tetris there. Come
Yeah,
on.
he cheats on his wife with Connecticut or
Smash
whatever
Boy.
the piece was called. Yeah.
He and Tetris get married by Elvis. It's actually beautiful. Beautiful ceremony.
He decides that he wants to pursue the Japanese rights to the game because he's got a lot of contacts over there and he thinks like this will be huge for them. I want to kind of facilitate that happening. So that, yeah, the rights are all over the place. The UK company Microsoft, they've assumed that they have the rights to make an arcade machine version of it because old mates just told them, go for your life. I'm sure it'll be all good. It's not, there's
Yeah.
nothing about it in the contract. So it's like, it's a complete mess. It's just like people are putting versions out, being told they're good to go. They're selling the rights they're selling the rights to other people. So this guy, Hank, he contacts Microsoft, who can't give him the Japanese rights because they've already given them to Atari. But after some negotiation, Microsoft gives Hank the rights to Japan on the home computer and the rights on all of the other formats, including like arcade home consoles, to Atari. But Hank takes the head of Atari out for dinner and he leaves with the console rights.
Whoa.
So he just goes, I'm gonna wine
Jeez,
and
that's
dine
a
this
powerful dinner.
Atari MF.
Great conversationalist.
Yeah.
More powerful dinner than Warnicky had last night.
There we go.
Yes.
I wonder if it was just like, if this all just did happen at Vegas and it's like they just go out for a wild night, head of Atari does something he shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Hank's like,
Oh,
I've
I've got
yes.
you.
got you over a barrel here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Hank gets the rights to Japan. Tetris comes out on the Nintendo over there, sweeps the country just like it had everywhere else. The Nintendo version sells 2 million units. So back to the Russian government's E-Log agency, their only deal was with Stein. And as far as they were concerned, it was for the home computer only. They didn't know that he'd been doling out the rights to other people. But what he's been doing is he's sending them royalty checks to placate them, to just be like, hey, yeah, money's flowing in, it's all good, it's all above board. And they're, they're completely unaware. Like, they're getting money, so they're just like, oh, this all seems above board. But they're completely unaware that the game is massive in the US, massive in Japan, and that it's like there's an arcade version of it that's massive as well.
So they're not sending as much as they should be.
No, not at all. He's just going like, yeah, some people are buying it. He's like
Right.
$50.
It's doing all right.
It's doing all right.
Yeah.
It's so funny to think that so recently you could get away with that.
Yeah.
And someone in another country just be unaware.
Yeah.
This is what I love about this story, is just that there's no precedent for this stuff yet.
Yeah.
So it's just truly like, Wild West, people doing whatever the fuck they want. Like, it really is great. So Alexei, the guy who made the game, he's had no compensation because all the money's just coming and going to
Right.
the state. So this game is like 2 million in Japan. Massive best-selling game in the UK and the US the year before.
It's
He
just like
hasn't gotten a
Tetris, like
cent.
the money's coming towards him, but just as it gets to him, it just disappears.
There's a bit of other money on the side and
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
slots in there. All of a sudden, no money. So at Nintendo in Japan, they're getting ready to reveal their latest innovation, the Game Boy. Portable, handheld gaming device that people could take anywhere with them. The first device of its kind. And I think fair to say the Game Boy is probably where most people are familiar with Tetris.
Yeah.
Like it was the like, it's synonymous with the Game Boy.
I'll
I
be
think they're
honest,
linked
I
in
wasn't
people's
down
heads.
at the penny parlor as a kid playing Tetris on the on the console.
That surprised me reading this. I was like, there's an arcade version? That just
Yeah.
seems crazy.
It just seems like the sort of thing where it's like Donkey Kong, nah, Tetris, that's more my speed.
That's the jam.
I want to get wedgied in the pinball parlor.
Yeah. And having someone over your shoulder be like, rotate it to the left.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
for like
yeah.
backseat drivers while you're trying to play Tetris.
Yeah.
It is a very solitary experience. So the president of Nintendo at the time, he was a huge fan of Tetris. He thought it'd be perfect for the Game Boy. The rights are still a mess. So Hank Rogers, he attempts to go and get the worldwide handheld rights from Stein. Stein doesn't have the rights. He gives him the runaround. He wants to get the rights from the Russians himself.
It's a great term, by the way, the handheld rights.
Yeah, the handheld rights. Anything about no, it's bit hard. So this guy Hank, he senses that he's getting dicked around by Stein, so he just goes over to Moscow. He goes, I'm just going to go to the Russians direct to get the rights from them because this British guy's giving him the runaround. He just rolls into town. He has no idea where the E-Log agency is. He doesn't speak any Russian. He doesn't know anyone there. He just gets there, hires a translator, and he's just walking around the streets asking people if they know where this government agency is.
That's so
wow.
funny.
He just bumbles his way
Do you
into
know
the
where
office.
Mr. Tetris is?
He gets in there. He's like, I'm here to see this guy who's like the head of E-Log. And it's like it's illegal at the time to take a meeting with a foreigner without it being like cleared by the department.
Right.
Wow.
So then like, downstairs, the reception, they're calling up and they're like, hey, this guy's here to see you. And the superiors are hearing this going like he nearly gets this guy killed by basically just showing up and saying like, yeah, I'm here to see whoever.
Yeah.
So he gets the meeting. He starts pitching them about how much they'll make on the Game Boy based on the Nintendo version that sold so well in Japan. And E-Log go, what Nintendo version? You didn't have the rights to do this. We didn't give them out. What you've been selling is essentially a bootlegged copy. So he realizes in hot water, he gives them a royalty check for, product they've already sold. That smooths it over with them. They kind of go, all right. They take a liking to him. They sign off on the deal. So he now has the rights to Tetris on the Game Boy.
Holy
He's gotten it.
shit.
And an open invitation to come back and bid on global console rights for like all the rest of it. Like outbid other people.
What?
So they take such a liking to him that they're like, you can put it out on the Game Boy, and if you want to come back in and just maybe sweet talk us, maybe we'll tell these other clowns to take a hike.
This guy could start a cult. He
Yeah.
sounds charismatic as hell.
He sounds really cool.
Wow.
So he goes back to Nintendo and he tells them this. He's like, got the rights to the Game Boy. We're good to go there. We can put Tetris on the Game Boy. But also, we can they gave me an invite to come in and like bid on the worldwide console rights, which at that time they're owned by Atari. And
Right.
Nintendo go, this sounds awesome, because Atari is their biggest competitor. And the presidents of both companies, they hate each other. They have like long-standing beef, which was apparently just like the real breaking point was the head of Atari had a dinner party at his house in Seattle, and the head of Nintendo was there. And after the dinner, the head of Nintendo went for a nap, and the head of Atari went, this is a sign of ultimate disrespect.
Oh.
Fuck you and fuck Nintendo.
Oh, that's good.
So that's just, I mean, I don't know. If I'm having you guys around for dinner and one of you's having a little snooze afterwards, I'm really not thinking anything of it.
No.
I'm not saying, Karl, we're having nothing to do with Dugo on ever
Well,
again.
I'll tell you what, we got a bit of a sign of disrespect this morning from. That's what we got. We got the Atari Nintendo. That's what's happening right now. The ultimate sign.
Yeah. This is the modern day dinner party,
Yeah,
a podcast.
That's it.
I feel like I'd take it as a subtle hint that maybe you should head off if the host is having a nap.
No, it was his
a
guest.
guest.
Oh, the guest
It was
had
a
a
guest.
nap. That is a weird. I mean,
like-
it feels like a weird thing to do at
It's
someone's
very
house.
strange.
But
You come to my
Well-
house, I stuff you full of food, then you get sleepy and go have a
How
little lie
dare
down.
you? How dare you eat my fish tacos and then disappear? It's not disrespect. What I was about to do was disrespect your lounge room if I hadn't disappeared.
yeah, that
It
wasn't
was
a nap.
strategic disappear.
Yeah.
He's been napping in the bathroom for 3 hours. His snoring is a very strange sound.
His snoring is
Wailing.
it's splashing.
So Hank goes back to Moscow, makes a big bid for the rights. Elog are keen, but they have to give Atari like a day to respond, if they want to like counter bid, outbid them. So in response to this, Atari sues Nintendo. They go, this is bullshit. We're taking you to court.
Whoa.
We had the rights. You started putting this out anyway.
Yeah, isn't it? It's a strange thing. So the rights that are being bought can be somehow outbidded, or you've got it 12
Yeah.
months at a time, or
Can I guess who's going to win this, given the how often I see Nintendo around and how often I see Atari around these days?
But I do. It is so cool. It's so funny, this era of time where it's like contracts were like half a page. You know what I mean? When you
Yeah.
get sent anything now and it's like, even if you're doing a gig for like some kind of official party and it's like this 80-page document that you have to wade through and you're like, I'm going to do the gig.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I
Yeah.
want the money. But it's like, no, someone fucked us over once before.
Are you saying that this is a nanny state now, Tommy? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I'm unvaccinated, but whatever. So yeah, the judge ends up ruling that Nintendo wins the trial, grants their injunction against Atari. So Nintendo go into production. They make the Game Boy version, and they make a Nintendo version for the US. The game comes out with every copy of the Game Boy. Sales record-breaking. Game becomes cultural phenomenon. People have these. Have you heard of this? When people start hallucinate when they're playing Tetris so much that they have hallucinations, that they're seeing that they're kind of seeing
Yeah.
the blocks.
I once, when I was at TAFE, I once played Pac-Man so much that I did get a bit of like walking around feeling like there were ghosts. like I was moving
Yeah,
like
right.
Pac-Man style.
I had that same experience. I got very lightheaded, but that's because I was playing Ms. Pac-Man and I just really turned on. Just all the blood had gone to another part of the body.
That was like me when I was playing Leisure Suit Larry so much and just constantly trying to find dingers. It was quite weird.
But have you ever had the Tetris effect?
because I play it at night, and definitely I
Yeah.
close my eyes going to sleep, and my brain continues the
Yep.
dun 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 and the shapes dropping down. I'm seeing Cleveland. I'm seeing Orange Ricky.
Yeah.
There's a VR version of it that I played a little bit of, and it's like it's too much.
Yeah, that would
Knowing
be
that this
full on.
already can trigger like a psychiatric effect in people, it's like I don't need the helmet on.
Yeah.
When did the song come in?
The Game Boy version, I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
right,
I
there
think
you
so.
go.
Yeah, I think that's the one that coined the song.
Cool.
Massive cultural phenomenon. Hank Rogers becomes incredibly wealthy. Alexei, the developer, he's still absolutely zero money off of this worldwide Smash game. He's just working away, and by all accounts is like, he's chill with it. It's just not in their society or culture at the time to feel like, oh, I've been hard done by here. It's like, yes, just how things go.
It's cool that
It's great.
my thing got out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
interesting.
he still alive now?
I think he might be. Yeah, I believe so.
Has he made any money?
Well, so him and Hank, they stay good friends. And then in 1991, Hank helps Alexei move his family over to the United States. He gets a job at Microsoft, where he continues making games. And then Elog falls...
I know his work then. Microsoft Golf.
Golf. Yep.
Yeah.
What else?
Microsoft. What was the other one I said?
The calculator.
Solitaire.
Yeah.
The calculator.
Running a diagnostics report on your modem.
Sleep. Yeah, that was his.
Shut down.
Sleeper.
Elog falls apart. Alexei gets a letter informing him that the rights to Tetris are going to revert back to him. But because Elog's a government organisation, he gets a feeling that the Yeltsin government is going to step in and contest this. So he calls Hank for advice.
This is Rocky IV all over again.
No, totally.
Yeah.
Because Hank goes, you know what? You've made me an incredibly wealthy man. He sees this as a way to repay his friend. So he gets on the horn.
I've thought of a way to repay you with money.
But not with my money.
No.
Like, I'm incredibly wealthy.
Yeah.
I've
only there was a
thought of
way.
a reason,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
way to pay you back.
Yeah.
But I put in a small amount of effort to see if I can get you some money.
Yeah.
We could go 50-50, but... You know, you're Russian, and I felt like that might have been offensive to even suggest, because it's just not your way.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not what you're used to.
I've only got dollars. I don't have any Russian drachma or whatever you use. Yeah.
So Hank heads over to Moscow, and he renegotiates the rights to Tetris, and he gets Alexei the rights, and the two of them together start up a company called the Tetris Company that is basically
I like it snappy.
still exists. Yeah, no. On the nose.
Yeah.
No beating around the
No,
bush.
Yeah.
no Globnorb or whatever the fuck was going on.
Exactly.
Before. Yeah.
This company still exists, and it basically, they've got like a kind of, just basically like a rule book of how anyone who's making a new version of Tetris, it's like, here's the things that have to be in it.
Smash Boy.
Smash Boy.
Orange Ricky.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Blue Ricky.
Yeah.
Reverse Cleveland.
Yeah. Cleveland Steamer. Yeah.
Up the bum, no babies. The best brick of all. That's great. Going into the Tetris company and being like, all right, so, you know, we're going to make a version of it, but here's some changes. I don't know how many times we have to tell you. That's why this company exists, is so that people like you can't do this. You can't have a piece called the Rusty Trombone that fills up the whole screen. How many times do we have to tell you? All right, back to the drawing board. No drawing board. There is no drawing board.
Okay, so we put we put the golden shower in here. And then what? Then what do we do?
So yeah, that's the history of Tetris. Now, I don't know if you guys ever have people who who know a lot about the subject that you've covered on an episode, that then call, like write in and go, you've gotten this bit wrong, or you've left this bit out. Does that ever happen? Do you have people like
almost
fact check
weekly
you?
basis.
Yeah, okay. So I should point out, just for the sake of accuracy and transparency, there was a guy that Alexei was mates with, that he was kind of like is riding kind of like side saddle with him the whole time throughout this journey. They were kind of working on the game together. They were workshopping it together. He moved to the States with him. He did all that stuff, and I'm sure there's been some people listening being like, "You've left out his little mate.
Right.
You haven't. You've gotten this all
little
wrong.
Ricky, little orange
Yeah,
Ricky.
you got the story all wrong. You've left this guy. This guy's, he's butchered the story of Tetris. And just to be clear, the reason that I've left him out of the story, it's not human error. It's the fact that at the very end of the story, in like I think 98 or something, he went insane and murdered his whole family and then killed himself. So all right, guys, I've editorialized and I've left him out for the sake of
Why
comedy.
the fuck didn't we just hear that story instead of all this fucking franchise bullshit for an hour?
So yeah, that's Tetris, folks.
Wow.
Yeah.
What I
guess
knew
that answered
nothing.
all the questions I had about Tetris.
Yeah.
So,
I was wondering how you were.
How were they negotiating?
You could have done Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, but you did the prequels, basically.
Yeah.
It's all about the trade routes and the.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying there? I
get
recently
ya.
learned about
I get
why
ya.
people hate the prequels.
I get you. Right.
Apparently, it's a lot of business,
Right,
a lot of politics,
Admin.
admin.
More than lightsaber fighting.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, Dave got a bit of a look in last night to what I was cooking up there, and then what do you guys think? You think he faked this?
No, I was surprised. Yeah, I was thinking, how is this going to be an episode? And by jingo, you did it.
By
That was-
jingo.
By jingo.
I
As
mean,
we
yeah.
always say.
like I said, it's just such an of its time story that just could never happen today with how things get made.
Fascinating.
The fact that it has to escape the USSR. And yeah, I got all this from a book by a guy called Box Brown, which is that's the other thing is like I remember
there's got to be something there.
Fox Brown.
Box Brown. Oh my god. Yeah. I remembered reading this book and I was like, that'd be good for Do Go On. It's very colourful.
Yeah.
Very silly story. And then as I was reading it, I remembered probably the reason I think that is because it's like it's like a graphic novel.
Yeah,
so
right.
it's like it's actually not very silly or light at all. It's just the fact that like the book about it is like literally a comic.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, sick.
Box Brown, is that like the brown box that was on Warnicki's flight to the toilet last night? Is that recorded?
Instead of
is that something?
a black box?
I really think you're overthinking this.
Okay,
I really
right.
think
Yeah, I think I would just
completely
lean into the
overthinking
brown.
Why didn't they
side.
make all of Warnicki out of the brown box?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're getting further away.
Yeah.
If that's possible.
I don't know. Do we have time? I've just found an article about the history of the Tetris theme music. I could read you quickly.
For sure. Yeah.
Because I was just thinking when you said, do you have any people who come in and contact you about wrong info? And how I asked you a question about the music and you had a educated guess about it coming in with the Game
I took
Boy.
a stab.
I'm like, let me just double check. And I haven't read this. So this could be as exciting. I was trying to browse through it then.
So you've implied that I'm wrong, but then you're like, I actually haven't read this information, so you might in fact be
Hang
right.
on, everyone shut up while I possibly agree with you.
Well, all I saw was this weird line that it comes from a poem, and I don't really understand how that makes sense. But anyway, it says this is from Tetris.com.
There once was a man from Nantucket.
The original Tetris theme song is almost as iconic as the game itself, so much so that it's easy to forget where the music originated from and just how much it evolved over the years. First and foremost, the true name of the Tetris theme is Korobeiniki, the Russian word for peddlers, and it was initially created as a poem by Nikolai Nekrasov in 1861.
Okay.
This is...
Thrilling. Yes.
Yes. Fuck, I hope this goes somewhere. If you pay a visit to Russia...
Fuck, my story feels like the Matrix now.
There's currently...
Thrill ride.
There's currently a museum that contains several archived documents pertaining to Nekrasov, including a copy of the infamous Korobeiniki itself. Oh my god. Historian Patricia Kennedy Grimstead notes that the museum opened its doors in 1946. They're padding this out now to mark the 125th.
I know who's padding it out.
Warnicki's pants.
Yes.
Okay. Upon reading the poem,
Poem now.
yeah, this is where it was based on. In 1989.
How's the theme music based on a poem?
That's what I don't quite understand. That's what I'm like, this might be interesting, but it turns out it wasn't.
Right,
But
yeah.
in 1989, Hirokazu Tanaka, did that name come up at all?
No.
Remade the song for the Nintendo Game Boy version of Tetris. So you were right. Okay, great.
So the game, so it's an existing thing that's out there, but in terms of its usage in Tetris,
Yes.
the Game Boy is the first version to use it.
So yeah, I'm glad
Glad we checked that
I'm
out.
glad I got you there. So I just want to say gotcha, Tommy.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and re-answer again. No, we don't have time to hear that.
We can just edit that out. Real nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on Do Go On once again. And for preparing the report. Really took it off my plate, so I appreciate that very
No
much.
worries.
It's
Would've
the
been my
second
turn.
official episode in the crossover. The first one was about Mike Patton. For
Yeah,
people who
that's
love
right.
this.
That's right.
I assume we did talk about shit in a hairdryer.
Absolutely.
So
Oh, yes.
so there is a bit of a thread there. I wonder what is going to complete the shit trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I felt like, because you did Mike Patton, which is a big interest to you when we came on, and I thought, I'll do something video games, I'm into video games. So maybe to complete the shit trilogy, we have to come together and do a joint report on something that we're...
A Voltron
shit! The history of feces.
Warnicki's pants. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we could do a report. Let's go to Warnicki's house now. and just watch what's going on.
Yeah, just see.
Yeah, and then come back with our story of what we saw.
You know how before we were all like, oh man, we were so excited to have the day to ourselves now, and you want to go and spend the rest of your afternoon at Dave's house watching him have food poisoning.
Peering through the bathroom window.
Yeah.
What's going on in there?
A lot of groaning.
I'm hearing stuff, but I don't believe it. I got to see it.
No, in all seriousness, Dave, there but for the grace of God go I. And, you know, I'm really feeling like I could be heading to that place, you know, within the next 24 hours
A lot
of
of
myself.
karma. coming our
Yeah,
way.
totally.
You've learned a lesson though, right?
Absolutely
If
not.
you're
No
hitting
way.
up gold class, you still might test yourself on the fish tacos.
No, what I'd probably do is not eat the fish tacos, get home late from the movie, have not had dinner,
Yeah.
order like a big creamy carbonara at 11 p.m, eat that right before bed, and then
Yeah.
just write off the entire rest of the day.
Have
That's how I
weird
do it.
dreams and
Yep,
weird
yep.
shits.
So same result, but just different pathways
Different
to get
methodology,
there.
I like it. So for people who don't know the Little Dum Dum Club, it's a very long-running Australian comedy podcast. It must be one of the longest,
Yeah.
I assume, is it?
I think so. Yeah.
Definitely.
Been
out
running
there.
for 10 plus years?
Yeah, it must be. You guys have been on it. We took you to Koh Samui with us.
That's right.
If people listen and remember that, there'll be an episode coming up with you guys on it again soon.
Who else has been on it recently? The last one I listened to had Sean McAuliffe on it,
Oh yeah.
which was pretty sick.
Yeah.
And Tony Martin.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were on the same episode together. Yeah. Look, heaps of people. Who are all the big names? Who have we had on there? Kamal Nanjiani. I'm just trying to think of big American.
You had
people
Kamal
now.
on. I've been watching his series on
Chippendales?
Chippendales, yeah.
Watch that,
I didn't know about that story at all.
We had Bill Burr on.
You had fucking hell.
You're going to do that with every name Carl says?
Yeah.
I've been watching
Yeah,
The
Dave Warnocky.
Mandalorian.
Fucking yeah. He turned up to a podcast.
Oh!
We had Russell Peters on once.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Oh, I remember when I was at
Yeah, he's going to comment on all
I was at what's the comics land? Not the comics land, the Perth Comic Sounds, whatever that's
Comedy
called.
Lounge.
Comedy Lounge, and Kappa was meant to be on, and he got bumped for Russell Peters.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'd be all right with that, I think.
Yeah. That makes sense, but I would have said that makes sense with anyone bumping. Yeah.
Yeah, heaps of people have been on. Yeah, there's 600 and something episodes in the back catalogue.
It's basically the idea of it, right? Is that it's sort of like a theatre of the mind. You're in the green room at a comedy club. Is that kind of what it is?
guess.
Well,
yeah.
because it's that old as a podcast that like you guys have got into podcasting late enough where it was like, oh, you can't just sit around and talk shit like two fucking idiots like Dassalo and Chandler.
Yeah.
You got to have a concept now.
Yeah.
You know,
You're the
market's-
reason why everyone has like these
Yeah.
very niche concepts.
or a reason to exist.
Yeah, we got in at the time where it was like, just be funny with your mates on the air. We'll do this for like maybe 2 months and then we'll get a radio job and that'll be that. That was what the landscape was like at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, you're in there. So as you and Hamish and Andy were probably there, and
Yeah, very comparable.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever happened to those guys? But yeah, no, they've been on. They've been on the pod. Yeah, and all the big names in Australia and beyond have been on. Get roped into doing it. So yeah,
and it's a similar vibe to our show. It's all very positive. Everyone's nice to each other.
We've talked about this before, but your audience is very, very well mannered, very polite, and very nice, and a little bit different to ours. It's
There is crossover though. There's definitely
of it,
people
yeah.
who come
Of
to.
course, there's
Yeah,
people
yeah.
who listen to everything, but it is like, you know, it's like we're in the state penitentiary, just like looking out the window, and it's
Yeah.
like an ice cream truck's pulled out. There's all these kids having a fun time out in the street, and we're like,
Yeah.
God, that'd be nice.
I know.
I mean, I've really made a life for myself
know.
on the inside. You know, I've got a guy that like smuggles stuff in for me. So I don't know how I'd go in the real world.
Meanwhile-
I'd probably just reoffend and be sent back here.
Yeah,
But just one day out there would be nice.
We're looking at all their fans that are just like cherry cheeked little blossoms eating ice cream. Meanwhile, we turn around and have to play to San Quentin over here. They're throwing fucking knives at us. That's what it's like. Yeah.
That's the difference.
So
difference.
if any of you got lovely listeners of Do Go and ever want to come to our live show and try and average out
Yeah.
the fucking
Oh, please.
the Hell's Angels that are at our show.
Please, we got a gig coming up at Altamont. That's going to be fun. And hey, if anyone listening does listen to video games as well, check out Filthy Casuals, because that's a show that I do about video games. But yeah, lots of comedy you can get your hands on.
Lots of free content out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Get around it. Well, thanks, guys. We appreciate it. Is this coming out now? Like, when's this coming out?
I'm not sure.
Who
Because
knows?
we were going to do it at the same time as the Dum Dum episode next
True.
week.
You want my advice? Bin it. Absolute waste of
We'll
everyone's
just have a
time.
week off instead.
Do a Warnicky and flush it.
I'd love it if you guys are like, yeah, this will come out next week, and we log on next week. The best of Do Go On summer series,
Do Go On's having a little holiday, guys.
hosted by Glenn Ridge. What is this?
I was asking because I was going to be like, have a good New Year's, but who cares? Anyway.
No, you're right. I think it will just come out this week.
Yeah. So have a good New Year.
Okay.
Listen out for all three of the Do Go On hosts, hopefully, on the Little Dum Dum Club in the new year.
Yes.
And you're both doing festival shows?
I am.
You're not doing one?
No, I'm not. My name's Karl, and I'm not.
This is the first
It's a
year
great
off in a
title.
while?
No, I didn't do last year either. So,
But Tommy, you
But
are.
Tommy is.
Yeah, I'm doing a show called Scam Artist
Oh,
about
love
how
that.
I had my identity stolen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Fuck. So lucky it's showing.
I know, isn't
man.
it funny when you're like, shit, that's sick. Oh, you had an awful thing happen to you.
Congrats.
Well done.
That's a
Oh,
show.
you've got a show. Yeah, exactly.
Love that.
Yeah.
I've had a really great year.
You
so-
know what would be great if that's the subject of your show, and then you rock up to your show and it's not you there.
Oh, that's-
That is good.
I have thought about stuff
That
like that.
is
I did
good.
think about calling it the talented Mr. Dassalo.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
nah, it's a bit, it just does. If you don't know that film, it's like, oh, what?
I do like it though. I do
I
like
like
it.
Yeah, I don't think I ended up with a great title, but I just could not think of anything that, what's annoying is that I kept coming back to the idea of calling it imposter syndrome, but my friends in Chimp Cop, Ben and Adam, that was their show last year.
Yeah.
So I
right.
keep saying, I'm like, this is so fucking annoying that this title that would be perfect for a thing that I'm doing, you guys used it as a title last year, and they're like, you know what the best bit is? It didn't really even have anything to do with what our show was.
Dogs.
Also, one of my favourite stories, and we've had this on the podcast about 10 years ago, but a friend of ours, a comedian called Pete Sharkey, once he used to drink a lot, and he once got so blackout drunk, he was at a pub, and then he blacked out, and he woke up in a different town, in a cinema, halfway through The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Eating fish tacos.
That wasn't a blackout, that was a brownie.
What a beautiful spot to end.
Yeah.
Thanks and sorry, everyone.
Yeah. Miss you, Dave.
Oh, what a pleasure to have both Tommy and Karl from the Little Dum Dum Club.
Is that who that was?
Yes. Do we ever introduce them? I don't think we ever said their
I
names.
did.
Oh, okay,
did.
great.
I
Fantastic.
tried to get you to do it and remembered you can't talk.
No, I was it was a little joke that I do. A little character.
Yeah.
You know how I'm wearing these headphones?
Yeah.
And I've got one off my ear.
Yeah.
But also, these headphones, only one side of them works.
Fun.
And it's not the one I've got on my ear. So I
Cool.
I was wearing headphones and I couldn't hear anything. But anyway, I'll fix that now.
Okay.
Just to keep you in the loop.
Thank you.
And the listeners,
Yeah, the listeners cared.
more importantly.
Oh,
Even more importantly.
the listeners are more important than me.
Yeah.
God, you're a dog.
Oh, you are one person. Our listeners number millions.
Okay, it's not the trolley
The
problem.
millions.
It's not that either I die or our millions of listeners die.
Right.
I'm just saying
You're
who's more
equal-
important to you in your day-to-day life. And it's obviously the listeners because you're all about money and fame, you fucking sellout.
The listeners aren't money and fame. They're people who are here for me. They're people who have thoughts and dreams and, heads.
I hate it when Dave's away.
They've got torsos.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They're
guess.
flesh and blood, Jess.
What am I? Fucking chopped liver?
Is that true?
I hate fighting with you.
Let's never do it again. Well, that was
And
fun.
we're back in the room.
What a loose episode. So good.
Yeah.
But we've said goodbye to Tommy and Karl.
Mm-hmm.
They've moved on with their lives. Tommy's gone off to record an episode of Filthy Casuals.
Yeah.
And I assume it's once again going to be about Tetris.
I assume so. I mean, he's just done all that work. He may as well.
May as well.
But do you reckon, Filthy Casuals has been around for a long time. Have they not covered Tetris?
Surely.
Surely.
Surely. Unless they're a new game podcast, which maybe
Probably
they are.
I don't know.
So I think they do a spin-off called Nintendo 69, which is maybe a retro one.
That is good. That stuff writes itself. So go check it out. If you enjoyed this and you love video games, you probably already listen to Filthy Casuals, and it's pointless us giving you this plug. But if you're new to video games, go check it out.
Go check out video games.
Go check them out. They're fun.
Yeah, just a bit of fun.
Bit of fun.
You know, and if you've been checking them out too much, why don't you go outside?
Go outside. Read a book.
Touch some grass.
Yeah, but you need to touch some grass.
So we're up to the section of the show, which is my favourite, and I believe everyone's favourite section of the show, where we thank a few of our great supporters. And I should say, because I didn't say good before, how good is it to be alive? Now, the way this works is people go to patreon.com/dogoonpod and they can support us on all sorts of levels. Up to you. There's a list. You pick one based on how much you want to pay or what things you want to get or whatever. And you certainly don't have to do that.
No.
Don't get me wrong. You don't have to. Just
No
listening makes me feel so good.
Yeah.
That you, Geraldine, are listening right now.
Oh my God, that's going to be crazy. Oh, can I do one?
Yeah.
That you, James,
Oh,
are listening.
that one might even work better.
Yeah.
Do you reckon we got more Jameses than Geraldines?
I reckon.
Yeah.
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 I'd say that quite confidently, actually.
So
James is such a basic bitch name.
Mhm.
It's yours and Dave's middle names.
yes, and
Andy
Matthews.
And Brendan Fraser.
Really?
So it's,
Holy
yeah.
moly.
Yeah.
I think it's nearly every boy's middle name, and every
Yep.
girl's middle name is Marie.
No, Marie and or Louise.
Yeah.
It's one of the big three.
Or Anne.
I said Anne.
Okay. Just now? So yeah,
I literally said 2 extra names and you lost one of them.
if you get involved, I think I thought you said and. Anyway, so if you, which would not have made sense, but
Jessica and Perkins.
so you said Anne and Louise, and I thought you said and Louise.
Uh-huh.
Double and.
Gotcha.
So one of the rewards people can get, I mean, there's all sorts of things, bonus episodes, shout outs, access to an exclusive Facebook club.
Yep.
The nicest corner of the internet.
Beautiful place.
But one of the things is if you sign up to the Sydney Scheinberg level, you get to give us a fact or quote or a question in a section we call fact, quote or question, which has a little jingle, goes something like this.
Fact, quote, or question. Ding.
She always remembers the ding. She always remembers the sing. And the way this section works is if you're on that level, Sydney Scheinberg, you get to give us a fact, quote, or question. You also get to give yourself a title. And I'll read out 4 each week. I'll read them out when I read them out. That makes sense. The first one comes from Ryan Butterfield, a.k.a. Senior Chief Submariner.
Okay.
And Ryan is asking us a question.
All right. We'll see if I feel like answering.
And because you do not like submarines,
Mm-mm-mm.
but do you like submariners?
I think so.
Yeah.
But we'll find out.
Okay. Ryan writes, hey guys, let me try writing in English again since last time it was really bad. I'm headed to Disney World for a 5-day trip. First question, when are you doing a US tour? Second question, where can I get tickets?
Wow.
First question, we're hoping for 2023.
Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, we were in the sort of planning stage for 2020.
I'd say we're advanced planning stage.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. I'm so glad we didn't spend the multi thousands of dollars for that visa, which we were getting very close to doing.
We were about to write that check. And just to stress again, $multi-$1,000.
It's yeah.
It's expensive to come to your country and perform for you.
It's almost like they don't think of us as Americans.
Crazy, isn't
American citizens.
Wild.
They see us as foreigners.
I don't understand.
When we go to the UK, they welcome
They're
us
like,
with
hello,
a
governor.
big hug.
Come on in.
Have a water.
Oh, I've got made you a cuppa. That's
Here
what
we
they
go.
say. It's
Yeah.
crazy. They're like
I
too
know,
nice.
It's almost too nice.
No. Yeah. So we're hoping. Look, don't take our word too strongly on that. It's I'm just worried. I don't want to. You like to sort of. You and I are chalk and cheese, aren't we? We're always, you're
yeah.
always like you're a dreamer,
I'm a dreamer.
and I'm terrified of getting people's hopes up and them taking it as concrete.
Yes. I just want them to know that we are trying.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's we're planning it. We're really hoping to do some more live tours and stuff in various places
New
next year.
Zealand.
We'd love to come to New
Jeez, we've been saying
Zealand.
that for a long time.
Yeah, we're keeping our eye on cheap flights because for three of us it can be expensive. And even some other shows in other cities in Australia that we haven't been to for a while. So it's on the cards. We don't have concrete dates yet, but when we do, you'll of course Patreons will be the first to know and the first to get access to tickets as well. To answer your second question, which I think was probably being a little bit tongue in cheek, but part of the perk of being a Patreon is early access to tickets.
Yes. I think our first UK tour was basically sold out by the patrons.
Yeah,
The first run of tickets anyway.
Yeah.
And America, I'd say, would be some
very similar.
maybe. Actually, we have no idea. That's the other scary thing.
Yeah,
We'll be going over and we would have already spent over 10 grand. And it was like, oh, I hope people come.
yeah. Hope this
Might
wasn't-
have to sell a kidney.
I think you can get paid for donating blood or sperm over there. So maybe
Really?
if you wouldn't mind taking
finally
one for the
we
team.
can. Finally, I got a lot of blood. Dave has got a lot of lot
blood,
of spunk, if you know what I mean.
blood,
A lot of chutzpah.
blood. He's got a lot of
Blood.
blood also.
Yeah.
I also have blood.
You got blood?
I'm not allowed to donate blood.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I kept fainting.
Oh, right.
I only fainted once, and then I was anemic, and they're like, "You have to take a break."
Mm.
So I will drive you guys to and from your appointments.
Oh, getaway
And
car.
that's how.
We're doing a heist at the sperm bank.
Anyway, so yes, hopefully very soon, but we will keep you updated, of course.
And
It's not going to
really-
be a surprise.
That's nice. I don't think anyone's really been asking. They used to ask a lot. Now I think people are like, I think they're almost like, nah, let's not.
Let's give up.
Let's
Don't give up hope. We get it a lot on Twitter and Instagram still.
Very, very keen. I'm so keen.
Absolutely.
I want to go over and see a game of NFL football.
Yes.
That is National Football League football.
I wouldn't mind seeing some hockey. I
Ooh.
think that could be fun.
Who are you going to go see? Penguins?
Probably.
I'd love to see Penguins versus Flames. My two teams clashing. Who do you go for, though? That's
Who do
the
you
trick.
go? Oh, Sophie's choice.
I know.
You know?
And I reckon Sophie would go with the Flames.
Okay. Wow. Sophie had a favourite. All right.
Well, it's the problem with giving it up to Sophie. I don't know where that phrase comes from. All right. And really appreciate that, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.
The next one comes from Amy C. And Amy has the title of Chief Embalmer Sans ass packing no matter how many rear orifices I find. I
Okay.
wonder how many Amy's found in the past.
Just on the street. Oh,
Yeah.
Found another rear end.
Yeah, I guess, it's sort of like the donut hole, right? You know that joke? We sell donut holes. I don't know if that's a joke, but basically you're not selling anything there.
Yeah. Okay.
Would that be the same with orifices? Look at all that. There's a pile of orifices in the corner. We've got to move some units here.
Yeah, right. I'm not
Are
sure
we running
I
out of gas?
understand.
I think I am.
Oh, big time. I'm
running out of
hungry.
steam. I mean, Dave's running out of gas.
Poor
Anything?
Dave.
Poor Dave. Hopefully when he's listening back to this, he's on
If
the
you-
mend.
If you aren't on an episode, are you listening back to it?
No, but he's editing this one.
True.
So
Sorry, Dave.
Amy C has a fact, writing, I humbly submit for Jess's consideration. This is a potentially fun fact.
We'll see.
Though weird to WTF.
Okay, well, I don't deal in weird or WTF facts.
She says weird to WTF seems more accurate.
Yeah, so
That's closer to my purview.
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what we deem this fact.
Did I use purview right there?
I don't think so.
In medieval times, monks documented that you could tell the age of a rabbit by how many anuses it had. Okay, now
Okay.
this is fun because I don't know why. Normally we go, well, that seems like a real non sequitur.
Yeah.
Or however you say that word.
Like that.
In the title. And then it, this is where the orifice thing came from. Do you connect those two dots?
No.
Do you connect those two dates? The belief was that due to its alleged promiscuous nature, a rabbit developed one anus for every year it lived.
What?
It is so bizarre and absurd, I have no idea how this conclusion could ever be drawn.
But rabbits can live a while, can't they?
Yeah.
So imagine, I think at some point you'd be more anus than body than anything else. Imagine if humans did that.
Are they thinking they've?
I'd have 32 anuses.
Mm,
That's yuck.
that's double the amount you have. But why would they? What? Surely this is something that could have easily been checked.
Yeah, just have a look.
I have no idea how this conclusion ever could have been drawn, but I heard it on an episode of You're Dead to Me, a BBC radio podcast, so it must be fairly reliable, right? Thanks all. Keep up the, as always, great work.
Would you say that's a fun fact? I know it's my call to make.
I think that's pretty fun.
I think it's pretty fun.
It's interesting.
I think it's going to start a conversation if you bring
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right, Amy, I'll say it's a fun fact.
Fantastic. The next one comes from Sky, ! Okay, official commercial diver. And
That's
Matt's-
quite different. I was like, finally, I can have a rest from driving us around. Nope, it's a diver.
Also, Matt's non-binary parent, Sky. Thank you so much. Everything I am today was from the lessons you taught me, Sky.
Thank you, Sky.
Sky's got a brag, writing, I just graduated commercial diving school in the top of my class.
Yes.
And I already have a job diving. I want to say driving every time.
Every time.
This is my dream job. And I'm genuinely
Dream
so...
job.
That's what it says.
No.
Oh, no.
No. It's
Just
just
chucking R's in everywhere.
yeah.
I'm like a rabbit. I got too many R's on my stomach.
That's not bad.
I'm genuinely so excited to start working. I've made a few really good friends out here, and I'm moving back to the middle of the country to work on dams and stuff.
Whoa.
Wow, Sky, congratulations.
That's huge, Sky. Well done. And also just nice that I love hearing people's enthusiasm for stuff they're doing and
Yes.
being excited for yourself. That's huge.
Oh, it's so great.
Good on ya.
Great to hear people live in the dream.
Love that.
And yeah, because you did dive recently, and it didn't go that well.
Yeah, that was
Not your dream, I'm guessing.
No, because I threw up in the ocean.
Yeah.
I got seasick in the ocean.
I feel under the sea.
I was honestly impressed with myself.
Yeah, because I would have thought there'd almost be a positive pressure there.
Yeah, because we were on a little boat and the skipper was like, if you're feeling a bit seasick, don't worry. Once you're in the water, you'll be fine. That'll just go away. And I was like, I just have to, it's a short boat ride. I just have to get through this without throwing up. And I did. And I was so proud of myself. And I get in the water and I'm bobbling around too much. And I threw up in the ocean.
And that wouldn't that be similar to chum?
Yeah, fish loved it.
Fish did? Sharks?
It brought a lot of fish,
Any
no
big
sharks.
fish? Okay, that's good.
But I saw a lot of turtles. I mean, was the day worth it? I guess. I also just saw turtles at the beach.
Today, Dave saw a lot of turtles. Thank you so much, Sky. Loved that fact. Brag. So good.
Oh,
we don't
love
get a lot
that.
of brags. I love a brag.
Bring them on. We love a brag. Good on you, Sky.
The last one this week comes from Angelo Del Guiducci. Okay, don't blame me. I voted for Kodos.
That's a Simpsons reference.
That is a Simpsons reference.
And I got it.
I understand this reference. Dave,
Only I may dance. That's what I say.
I think that all the time. Conan. At the,
Yeah.
The
only I may dance. I say it so much.
on the I didn't do it episode.
Yeah.
So Angelo's got a fact writing. The abbreviation OMG can be traced back to 1917 in a letter from British Navy Admiral John Arbuthnot Fisher to Winston Churchill about rumours of new titles that would soon be bestowed. The letter read, I hear that a new order of knighthood is on the tapis, he wrote. OMG, bracket, oh my God. Shower it on the Admiralty. Can you believe that?
Wow. That's the origin of OMG.
1917.
Wow.
Any thought? If you could break down a response to this in maybe 3 letters, how would you respond?
Lol.
That's fantastic
What
stuff.
were you going to say? Mom? I just realized mum is also 3 letters.
I was going to say, huh.
Oh, I went for lol. I guess I just find more joy in life than you do.
You do.
I'm more joyful.
Thank you so much, Angelo, Sky, Amy, and Ryan. The next thing we like to do is shout out to a few of our other fantastic supporters. Jess, you normally come up with a bit of a game
Yeah.
for this section.
We're gonna
normally based on the topic.
Yeah, we're not gonna give you the whole plot or anything. Like, look it up yourselves. But we're gonna just tell you the name of the game that they invented.
What is the name of the game? Thank you so much. That's great.
You think so?
I think that's so good.
I think we could have some fun with it if you just loosened up a little bit.
Yes. That's
my only note.
I was thinking you were going to say we would give them an Orange Ricky type name, but this is better because there's more scope here.
Yeah.
Well, it would have ended up being Red Ricky.
Yeah.
Brown Ricky.
The orange. No, damn it.
Right. If I can kick us off.
Please.
Do you want to go one for one? That's what I did with Dave last week.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I reckon.
I'll read a name. You give a game. You give a game. I read a name. Wait, no. I did a bit of a I win, you lose.
Yeah.
No, heads I win, tails you lose. All right. Bit of fun. All right.
I asked him to loosen up, to be fair, and
Yeah.
he's done it.
First up, I'd love to thank from Glasgow in Scotland. It's Onk.
Onk obviously invented the game Tree Plugger.
Oh, a tree plugger.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to explain how it works.
No, we don't do
You did say that. I mean,
because I knew we'd just get bogged down in it too much.
oh, really? Because I'm picturing a whole world.
And you're wrong.
Tree plugger. Really?
It's the opposite of what you expect.
No kidding. I was picturing it that you had to put the world was full of holes.
Yeah.
And the oceans were draining.
Uh-huh.
So we had the game is sort of like a whack-a-mole style game. Only you're plugging holes with trees.
Right. No.
Way off.
It's about demolishing forests. It's really bad.
Thank you so much for your support, Onk.
Thank you, Onk. I would love to thank from Stanmore, New South Wales, Jeff Hammett.
Violin hero.
Violin hero, yes. The heavily anticipated follow-up. Love that. Thank you, Jeff. My pitch has improved since playing Violin Hero.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very good at it.
Yeah, you're a great baseballer now.
Yeah. Now your turn.
No, it's back to you.
No, I just read that one.
It's back to me.
It's not that hard.
I found this equally confusing last week with Dave. I did it every time.
Okay.
We were also sharing my computer. So I kept turning around to him to read, and he's like, just does a twirling motion with his finger.
No,
I'm
buddy.
like, oh, yep, right. Well, I would love to thank from Halifax in Canada, it's Rebecca Dubois.
And Rebecca Dubois invented the game Airplane Race.
Oh, yeah.
I saw an air conditioner.
Oh.
Airplane Race.
I like how you put it into North American parlance.
Exactly,
as well.
not aeroplane,
No.
airplane.
Or do Canadians often speak like us, don't they?
Sometimes. I'm not sure if they say airplane or aeroplane.
I love cultural differences.
Isn't
though.
it fun?
It is so much fun.
It's crazy that you go to a different place
Yeah.
and it's different.
I love little quirks.
I love it.
Bucks party, stag night,
Yeah, bachelor
party.
Same thing.
Come on.
But very different
So
language.
beautiful.
So beautiful.
So beautiful.
I would love to thank, also from Canada, from Nanaimo, definitely said that wrong, apologies, Matt Lineker.
Matt Lineker. Do you remember the game he invented? It's called Stubbies.
Stubbies?
Yeah.
You walk around trying not to stub your toe.
Oh my God. You could not be further from the truth.
What?
You go around trying to stub your toe.
But there are no obstacles.
No obstacles.
You must search in the barren desert for an obstacle to stub your toe on.
You know, in the original Mario Brothers, or not maybe the original, I don't know. I think it was the first one where there's a secret brick that you got to headbutt to get a mushroom early. It's like that.
Right.
But they're all invisible. So you're going around kicking the air, hoping you find a brick to stub your toe.
Wow. But you don't even get a mushroom out of it. You get pain.
No, but that
makes you bigger.
Yeah.
I thought we weren't explaining the games.
We're not.
Okay, it's your turn again.
Okay, thank you so much for doing that. I'd love to thank from address unknown. Can only assume from deep within the fortress of the moles. It's Mike Humphrey.
And it's convenient, actually. That's where Mike is from. It was sort of his muse because his game is called Mole Check.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a skin.
Oh,
You just check all the moles on. You're a doctor
yeah.
and you have patients come in. You have to check their skin for moles.
Wow.
It was put out by like the Cancer Council and stuff. One of those educational games.
And
Came
so
free with your cereal box.
if you don't check well, you lose patience and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's pretty full on.
Man, I feel like I'd lose patience with that game.
It's a lot of high pressure.
A lot of high pressure and tedious sounding.
I would also love to thank, from also deep within the Fortress of the Moles, Kara Smith.
Oh, Kara Smith. What a game that she invented. It's called Jim the Bin Man.
Jim the Bin Man. Such an endearing character and such a beautiful backstory.
Yes.
Love that one.
So,
Rich tapestry.
the game starts when he's knocking off his shift. He's
Yeah.
gone around, he's been up at 5. He's got the rest of the day to himself.
Yeah.
So
And you
it's
run
just
errands with Jim.
Run errands with Jim.
Pick up the kids.
You
cook
go
them
do some
dinner.
shopping.
Yeah.
Probably, end up going to bed early. If you go to bed early, you've clocked the big boss.
I played a game where you play a mail carrier and you just drive around a little town delivering mail.
Oh, yeah.
And I fucking loved it.
Postman Pat.
It was beautiful. It was called Lake. It's gorgeous.
Okay, that's a confusing name.
Well, you drive around the lake, Matt.
Okay.
Your turn.
Yes, I knew that. I'd also love to thank from Melbourne in Victoria, Australia. It's Reese.
Reese invented the game Electrician.
Oh, yeah.
And you start off with you're just working on a little like electrical panel and you're putting wires together and stuff. And as you progress through the levels, you're like wiring houses and then office buildings, and it's pretty full on.
So this is very different to Lake. This one, it is what it sounds like it's going to be.
Oh, but also by night you're Batman. Is
So
that better?
You got to get through quite a few levels before the game
Yeah.
takes a hard left turn.
Because you're just trying to live your life and then you become Batman.
Oh, man. I mean, isn't that the Bruce Wayne story?
Nothing ever fucking makes you happy. Anyway, the next person I would
that actually made me very happy. How dare
the
you?
next person I would love to thank is from Avondale Heights in Victoria. It's Natalie Baker.
Oh, Natalie Baker. Obviously, I think it was a bit of nominative determinism here
Determinism.
because Natalie Baker made a game called National Bank
Yeah.
and or the Nat Bank, and it's basically all these games are so dull.
But there are a lot of dull games.
Yeah, that's true. But this one is actually very different because it's a bank heist game. And
you got to recruit a bunch of people to be in your crew.
yeah, and you're the inside. You're the insider. So
Oh.
you're giving out info and then you're there going, oh no. Like this at the game's comes to a crescendo with you winking, going, oh no, please don't shoot me, wink, and then end credits roll.
Oh. And so the heist never happens. You're just working at a bank.
No,
for a
once
while.
well, it's one of those games that works backwards.
Oh,
Jess.
I love those games.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. I thought you were a gamer.
No, I play like little farming games and stuff. That one's a bit too
okay.
advanced for me.
Where is Avondale Heights?
I feel like I went to
It's in
look
the
this
west.
up before. I feel like it's like on the way to Geelong, but I could absolutely be wrong.
Beautiful spot. Call that in the
Suburb
west.
in Melbourne, 11 kilometres northwest of Melbourne Central Business District. Nah, it's not on the way to Geelong at all.
Northwest. Beautiful part of
Beautiful
the world.
part.
Beautiful part of the world.
Uh,
Avondale Heights.
Oh, it's like
Doesn't that just
Sunshine,
sound like
Maribyrnong, that kind of area.
sunshine, lollipops, love it all.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful neck of the woods.
Do you want to thank our last Patreon?
I'd love to thank our last Patreon from Ocala in Florida in the United States. It's Tony Perez.
Tony Perez invented the game Mule,
Mm,
and you're a drug mule.
drug mule.
You got to pick up the drugs.
You got to pack it.
You got to pack it.
You got to pack your own ass.
You got to pack your own ass. You got to drive it across the border.
And your ass is you. You're the mule.
It's a bit of a Grand Theft Auto type. Like you can sort of interact with the world and stuff.
Mm.
Steal cars to.
Takes
all
a
your
while to
drugs.
get the gameplay going to walk normally because you start with quite a wide gate as you're getting used to the package.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, that's one of the things is if you get past the levels, you start walking more naturally.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tony, for bringing that game into the world. Thank you, Natalie, Reese, Cara, Mike, Matt, Rebecca, Jeff, and Onk. And the last thing we need to do, the last thing we want to do is welcome in a few of our fantastic friends and supporters into the Triptych Club. Now, there's 2 people to bring in this week.
Mm-hmm.
Now, without Dave here, he plays the very important role of the hype man.
Yep.
Now, are you up for playing that role?
No.
All right, I'll be the hype man.
Okay.
You be the band booker. That's his other big job.
Yeah, okay, I can do that.
I'm standing on the door for new listeners. Well done for making it this far. People who have been supporting us on the shout out level or above on Patreon, they get brought into the Triptych Club. It's a bit of theatre of the mind. I'm the doorman. I've got a clipboard with a list. I'm about to lift the velvet rope, read out 2 names. Then I'm also going to be the guy inside who's on the stage hyping you up. And Jess is behind the bar. You've normally made a cocktail for people for the after party.
I have, yeah. I've called it the Orange Randy. What was it called?
Orange Ricky.
Orange Ricky.
That's a great name for a cocktail.
Orange Ricky or Orange Randy? Because I've made both.
Yeah.
They are very similar. So I've got a cocktail, and I've made finger sandwiches, but I've cut them into all the shapes of the Tetris pieces.
So you got the bomb,
Hero,
whatever it is, Exploder Boy or whatever. Jeez, it wasn't long ago that I read about.
Big old boy.
Oklahoma
State.
Upper Midwest.
Reverse Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Roger Rabbit.
Roger was there.
I've made all of those into sandwiches.
Dave let me know that he booked a band.
Yeah. He said I was booking the band.
And you were booking the band.
Yeah, because I booked it.
Yeah, you booked it in Dave's stead.
Sorry, I got defensive there. I was just like, what the fuck? Dave told you to book a band?
I'm so
you
glad.
just told me to book a band.
I'm so glad you did, because I was starting to sweat. I was about to check my emails. Did I book a band? But you've booked a band.
I've done it, and I'm pretty excited. Been trying to get them in for a little while. I have managed to book Human Tetris.
Whoa.
No relation. And so we'll be hearing things off their memorabilia album in 2018 and Things I Don't Need from 2010. They won't be playing their biggest hit, Things I Don't Need, just because they're mad at me.
And we asked them not to.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
So don't worry about that one.
Can you play some of the underground hits?
Yeah, I want the 2010 stuff.
Yeah, we want some deep cuts, please.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. So please do hang around, everyone in the club, to see Human Tetris, and grab yourselves an Orange Randy or an Orange Ricky.
Yep, and a sandwich.
And a sandwich.
Can I just get props, please, that my snacks and drinks weren't fucked this week? Is that a bit of a relief for you?
That is a relief. I could not make any bigger props than these. These are the biggest props I could get.
Okay.
They are from Star Wars 2, whichever one that was.
All right, let's just thank some people.
And it's
no, I just feel like
it's one of those big sort of camels that walks in the sky.
I don't even like Star Wars.
I mean,
okay,
it's a big prop. It's one of them those big sort of.
I think I know what you mean, but like
they're horns, and at
what
some
did you
point,
think that would be the significance to me?
I think Luke's. Oh, was the first movie I could think of because it was mentioned before.
What? I'll bring the people in. You hype them up, okay?
Okay, fantastic.
All right, here we go. Firstly, I would love to welcome into the Triptych Club from Vancouver in Canada. It is Shay Claire.
Move Vancouver and make room for Shay Claire, who's not having a mare. She's having a dream. Let's welcome her in, Shay.
That's actually not bad. I think I'm starting to see what
holy shit,
what the expectation is of this role, and Dave is bad at it. You're right. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, and finally, thank God there's only 2. I would love to thank from Royersford, Pennsylvania, Michael Maltman.
We can't Royersford not to have him in. Welcome in, Michael Maltman.
We can't Royersford afford. Yep.
Michael Maltman, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nailed that.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
See, this is what I mean.
Michael Maltman, it's good to see you.
Man, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
Man, it's good to see you.
There it is.
Yeah.
I think it needed the inflection.
I don't want an alt man. I want you, Michael Maltman.
That's nice.
You know what I mean?
I do want an alt man though.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be great, Michael, if you could bring an alt man as well. That'd be fantastic.
Thank you so much. So thank you very much to Michael and Shay for joining us.
Shay, can't wait to become au fait with you, Shay Claire. Move Vancouver.
Yeah, you've already
Make
done it.
some room.
You've literally done it. You don't have to revisit it.
We can't Royers Ford not to.
It's fucking terrible. I'm going to boot this home. We're
going to treat you like a royal from Royersford.
Thank you so much for listening. If you would like to suggest a topic, you can do so over at dogoonpod.com. There's a link there. There's also a link in the show notes. Also over at dogoonpod.com, you can find information about live shows, I don't know, do other stuff.
I can't find fault, man. You're the malt man.
You can buy merch.
Michael Malt Man.
You can buy merch over there. You can find us at Do Go On Pod on social media. And until next week.
Don't worry about any Claires and Graces. We got Shay Claire.
Until next week,
She's
we'll say
chill. Well, they're chill.
thank you and goodbye.
Later.
Bye.